Hello, 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 hello. Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know this is a weird angle and I know the title of the video, like what's going on. Okay, I feel like I should just talk. I feel like this is gonna be like how I take videos from now on. Before you go anywhere, this is gonna be an astrology video. It's gonna be a video based on the astrology of 2017. I felt like this year I should try making videos like this where we can like talk and stuff. So yeah, I'm going through my 12th perfection year and I want to document everything that happens this year because I feel like it's a year where you can grow and stuff like that, because the 12th house rules over isolation, your mental state and everything like that. So I want to see like how I am, especially because this 12th house perfection year, it's happening in my 12th house, which has my Saturn and my North Node. So I feel like this is what I'm meant to do, you know, shit like that. I have tarot cards here because playing cards here because I was using them as tarot cards, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're just gonna get into the astrology of 2017 just so I can see what patterns arose. We have my little black book. Okay, we have my little black book. Okay, I think I should stand. Wow, I look better when I'm standing. Okay. We have my little black book and I wrote down everything that happened in 2017, what I can remember from my brain, my medulla. Okay, the first thing that happened in 2017 that is pretty significant, and it also happened again this year, was in 2017 Vine shut down. In 2017, 8 years after TikTok shut down, a whole Venus cycle. That's why I'm talking about 2017, because 2017 was 8 years ago. 8 years is a whole Venus cycle. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this? Okay, so everything that happened in 2017 could happen again this year. And I know you're thinking, Beyonce, you're stretching. I'm not stretching. The evidence is right here. The evidence is right here. Okay, I am not playing with you. Okay, I have receipts. Anyway, so in 2017 I was obsessed with Kenny Knox because of Vine, so I don't think I need to write that down. The second thing that happened in 2017 was the deadly baloney situation in South Africa, listeriosis. I don't think anything like that is going to happen again, but that's what happened in 2017. AKA and Bonang broke up that year, and it's the same year that I was introduced to Nicole Nyaba. Let me just be sure. Or was it 2018 when I was introduced to Nicole Nyaba? I'm not sure. I cut my hair. This is significant because I've been threatening to cut my hair and I've been having this urge to cut my hair. And I was changing hairstyles at that time. I was going natural. I was embracing blackness, or the black side of me, which is interesting because lately now I have been feeling a call to express my black side and stuff like that, so it's pretty interesting. I deleted my Facebook account, which is interesting because this year I deleted my TikTok. Frank Casino blew up. If he released his album that he released last year, this year, he would have done well. I was in the photography club. Wow, wait, okay. I was in the photography club. I met someone in the photography club and we met again on Twitter. But I don't remember if she was in the photography club or if she was in another club. AKA released Be Careful What You Wish For. I got my first iPhone in 2017. So this year I'm obviously not going to get a new. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what the universe holds. Maybe I will get a new phone. Shit, who knows? I got into African literature. That was the year my sister was working at Bargain Books. And in 2017, I remember I got lots into African literature. I was reading Nakane Tore. He released this book. I don't know if it'll say though. Yeah, 2017. She bought, 2017. Right? Is that the date on the slip? Wait.
It was 2017.
Okay.
December or January.
January, yeah, it says 117. Yeah.
January.
I read this book. when I read it, I feel like I should talk about those. When I read this book by the Canetore, I thought maybe because he's a literature student, I didn't understand what was going on. But when me and my sister started talking about it, we were like, I read Things Fall Apart, even though this was in 2016. She bought this in 2016. I was reading a lot of.
We still mourn you, Ikemefuna.
Oh my god,
We
she's
still
going
mourn
crazy.
you.
Okay. Purple Hibiscus. This book taught me a lot about Nigerian culture and pasta culture, and yeah, it taught me a lot. You know, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Is it Adichie or Adichie? Her read this book. This book I haven't read. My sister says I should read it, but I'll read it when I take a social media break for 3 months. I don't know when the winter. Yeah, I got into African literature, and it's funny because lately I tweeted something on, because someone was like, I'm done reading, and I was like, I'm done reading white books written by white people. I want to read African literature, which is crazy because I've been reading like books on African spirituality and stuff like that. Anyway, there were a lot of funerals happening in our family, and I don't think that's gonna happen again. I hope. There were a lot of pregnancies. A lot of people were pregnant. And if people become pregnant this year, it would make sense because Jupiter is going to go into Cancer. Cancer rules over the mother, feminine energy, the moon, home, womb, and shit like that. There was a drought in Cape Town. Nah. This is when Neptune was in Pisces. Neptune is in Aries. Nah. And I feel like something's going to happen with the Cape Town beach. The beaches there. I know people are saying maybe the water's hot, not hot, cold. I feel like something's going to happen there. It's either going to become really cold, or it's going to become slightly hot because of Neptune in Aries. Or, I don't want to say there's going to be a lot of fire. Nah. But the fact that there was a drought when Neptune was in Pisces makes me think that...
Maybe wildfires.
Yeah, wildfires. Something that has to do with the nature.
The mountain.
The mountains. They could be... And there was fires in Cape Town. I just don't remember which year it was. So maybe those can happen again. I'm not wishing bad upon Cape Town. This is just an observation. And this is to see whether my astrological powers are, you know. This is the same year that Cyril went into the ANC when he was introduced as the president of South Africa. Oddly enough, the same year that Cyril became the president was when we started to see a spike in femicide. Now, this is interesting because in that same year, there was a protest held at UCT, and this year already we are protesting for justice for Kwekwe. Is it Kwekwe? Kwekwe. And it's just interesting to see. I'm not using bad things that are happening in the world to prove a point. I'm just saying that it's interesting that it happened. It's, you know, it's like wow, that's a coincidence. And yeah, sign the petition in the bio, in the description. Rihanna released Fenty Beauty. That year, there were a lot of kidnappings happening, or it was the start of kidnappings. I remember I was in grade 10. We had an assembly where we had to go and prepare, like in case of an emergency. So maybe we might be seeing a spike in that again. This is interesting. 2017 was the year that Donald Trump became president of the United States for the first time. And he's the president now, and look what's happening. And astrologers said that it would happen because of the Venus cycle and things like that. Okay? America withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement, and now Donald Trump is busy signing off executive orders to cut down plants somewhere. I just don't remember. I'll put the article here. It's really interesting. This is fucking interesting. There were tons of terrorist attacks. And now they are, I don't want to call them terrorist attacks because it's happening to Elon Musk. So it's not like terrorist-ish. But it's interesting to note that there were terrorist attacks. Now there's like attacks on Tesla's, Elon, stuff like that. It's interesting. The Handmaid's Tale was released 2017. And the final season is coming out this month, this year. A whole Venus cycle. And what's happening now? What's happening now in America? People are getting arrested for having miscarriages. they can't get access to plan B. They're being forced to carry babies. Do you see what's going on? Like, anyway, yeah, I got introduced to Nicole Nyaba 2017. And now I'm not going to use this as a moment to belittle Nicole or like make light of what she's going through, but she's going through a lot currently. So it's like there's something going on. Do you see, guys? There's something going on again. She's having a meltdown, and I really hope she gets the help that she needs. Whatever, she knows what she needs, and I hope she gets that. Okay, this one I'm not going to tell you because La Loy. Okay, Get Out was released that year. Taylor Swift was in her Snake era. Jaden Smith released Sire, and this is the album that I felt like changed the whole trajectory of his career. That's why I feel like he's gonna do something big this year. I feel it in my bones. He's gonna do something big this year. Oddly enough, this was the same year that I started going to church. Now, do I attend that church anymore? Do I believe in God? Mudimo e God? No. There's a difference. There's a difference. It's the same year I started editing. And when I got into makeup and musically, yeah. That's all I have to say for that year. Because of that, I'm going to make some predictions based on Neptune being in Aries, Cancer being in Jupiter. That right there, I don't want to say, is it a conjunction? Is it a sextile or is it a conjunction? Editing Beyonce will tell me. You know what's funny? I suck at geometry, but ask me to look at a chart like this and I'll tell you what's going on, and it's crazy. This is the things that I am predicting. We're going to see a spike in pregnancies. Either a spike in okay, because of Jupiter in Cancer, there might be a lot of people who are going to try to become more nurturing and stuff like that. They're going to want to heal their mother wound, stuff like that. Or they're going to want to become mothers. People are going to be pregnant. Those who are not practicing safe sex, people are going to be pregnant. You're going to see a spike in people being pregnant. Yeah. But then because of Neptune being in Aries, and Aries, I know this because I'm an Aries moon, Mars, and 10th house. People are going to want to be independent, innovative. They're going to be bold, assertive, stuff like that. I don't think they're going to get pregnant. Nah. I feel like the whole tradwife movement, it's either going to become in this year until, well, for the next 14 years because of Neptune in Aries. I feel like a lot of people are going to start to notice that the tradwife movement is based on certain white supremacy ideologies. Yeah, I don't know what they call it. And people are going to be like, you know, I feel like people like Nara Smith aren't going to be as, you know, popular because people are going to want to crave independence instead of craving a home, being closer to God and stuff like that. When Neptune was in Pisces, okay, we had a lot of toxic gurus. Jay Shetty, we saw a lot of white people going to places like Thailand, Bali to get some spiritual guidance so they can become gurus. We saw a rise in astrology. Astrology was going mainstream. And I feel like when Neptune is in Aries, people are going to be like, no divinity, we want action. You know, I feel like people are going to be like that. And I feel like there's going to be less creators making content about God and stuff like that. I feel like people are going to be going to war because Aries is the planet, well, god of war, and it's ruled by Mars, and Mars is action. I feel like there's going to be a lot of action in terms of where people collectively want to be because Neptune is a generational planet. There's going to be a shift in where people want to be in life. I don't think people are going to be relying on divinity and stuff like that anymore. People are going to start to hold the governments accountable, people accountable. People are going to be talking about their experiences, the system. I feel like there's going to be a lot of protests.
Intuition into action.
Yeah, intuition into action. Yeah, thank you, Debbie. And so people's intuition is going to be like, okay, I've learned everything I need to learn. What happens now? What do I need to do? What do I need to work towards? So yeah, I feel like a lot of things could get done in those 14 years. And I saw an astrologist say that during this time, a lot of people, we're going to see a lot of new faces in Hollywood. And I believe this to be true. I feel like Aries is the first zodiac sign. So I feel like a lot of younger people are going to be making an entrance into Hollywood, or we're going to see new people, because Aries is like new. When Aries season happens, it's the new astrological year. So we're going to see new people being in the industry because Neptune rules over the industry, or what people collectively are tuned into. I don't know why my phone is doing this. So yeah, no, don't do that. Not me talking to my phone, like it's real. So we're going to see a lot of new faces. I feel like people who are influencers, they are going to have a hard time during these 14 years. I feel like if you don't have a message that motivates people, want people to be their best self, and it's something based purely on delusion, not delusion, but like
If you are a preacher who
fantasy.
doesn't practice,
Yeah, if you don't practice what you preach, you don't stand up for a higher cause and stuff like that. I feel like people are going to be like, we've seen enough, you know? And I feel like I should talk about South Africa. South Africa is going to do very well in these 14 years because of one reason. South Africa is a Cancer rising. Who's also a Cancer rising? Yeah, gotta be. But my Aries placement is in my 10th house. For South Africa, it's in its 11th house of gains. South Africa could be making a lot of money in these 14 years. Okay? And the thing about it is, what I've noticed with countries is when their value increases, there's a lot going on. You know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of strikes and stuff. People are going to be like standing up for a cause and stuff like that. And South Africa's going to make money. I don't know how, because of the Aries 12th house. I don't know, something to do, I don't want to say something to do with war, but something to do with like being bold, being a voice, assertive, speaking, action. You know, Aries energy is going to help South Africa make a lot of money. Maybe, I don't want to say this, maybe if South Africa goes to war with Rwanda, they could make a lot of money. And the thing is, I'm talking about this because I've noticed when countries go to war, all of a sudden they make money. Whoa. Shout out Kian. So, yeah. I'm not saying South Africa is going to go to war. I'm just saying if they go to war, they could make money and shit like that. Or South Africa is going to become very popular in these 14 years. And we already see it happening. We have a lot of tourists coming here, a lot of artists coming here, Doja Cat, Travis Scott. South Africa is going to be, you know. And I don't know when Travis Scott came to South Africa. Can you Google quickly? Can I borrow your phone? Okay, I'm just going to Google when Travis Scott came to South Africa. Yes, he was here in 2017. Travis Scott was in South Africa in 2017. He's coming back again.
Travis Scott is our synchronicity.
8 years. Venus here. Do you guys see why it's so important to get into astrology? And Travis Scott has an album called what? Astro World. Who's the love of his life? Young Sweet Ro. What is Young Sweet Ro interested in? The occult. Travis Scott is an Aries rising with an Aries moon and Mars. The fact that he's coming to South Africa, Cancer rising, 11th house, popularity. He's trying to become popular. In the year that Vine closed down, people started migrating to Instagram. When Vine closed down, people took the Vines to Instagram. They went to YouTube and stuff like that. And it's funny to note that in 2017, we saw a rise of people making YouTube content. You know, we saw a lot of people starting to make YouTube content and stuff like that before TikTok came around. So I feel like there's going to be a rise in... I feel like people who should have had a platform many years ago are going to get a platform now. You know, people who are authentically themselves. They don't copy other people, stuff like that. A lot of astrologers are saying that Donald Trump is going to die around his birthday or November. But we'll see. I'm not wishing bad upon Donald Trump.
I wish we about Donald Trump.
Actually, I do wish bad upon him, but not death. Come on now. I'm not that evil. Because of Neptune being in Aries, I feel like a lot of people are just going to be working on athletic stuff. Not athletic stuff, body stuff. You know? because Aries does rule, headaches. Oh, people are gonna get headaches because Aries rules over the head. So a lot of people have already been complaining of headaches. So yeah, I also feel like athleticism, there might be a rise of athletics.
The gym bros,
The gym bros.
running.
I also feel like because of Neptune being in Aries, there could be like a lot of influencers who are maybe like health influencers that come out saying they've developed really bad health because of the diet they were consuming. You know, the carnivore diet, we're already seeing it happening. People are getting colon cancer and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe people are going to be like, hey, when I was busy working out, I was actually taking steroids. You know, there might be an increase in people coming out on some, I actually hate my body, I actually hate, you know, stuff like that. Fashion wise, when Jupiter was in Pisces, we saw a rise in people dressing like, and we already see this changing with Forever 21. People were free. The people had a certain aesthetic. You know, you look at the boho African girls, you got the clean girls. There were different aesthetics. And these aesthetics were based on people's beliefs. Pisces. Because Neptune is going to be in Aries, people are going to dress more comfortable or dress according to work. Clothing that helps them get things done.
Big show bodies.
Yeah, big show bodysuits. You see, people are going to start wearing more athleisure. That's what I predict. And I feel like the aesthetic of these 14 years is going to be wild. We're going to see people just wearing workout clothes. And you're going to be like, why the fuck are you wearing workout clothes on a Tuesday at Mug and Bean? You know?
Aerobics making a comeback.
Yeah, aerobics is making a comeback. People are going to be dressing like we were in the 90s. Not even the 90s. Is it 90s? It's the 80s. People are going to be dressing like the 80s. This is going to be the aesthetic of Neptune in Pisces. So, buckle up. And what?
The substance, the aerobics.
The substance. Guys, we're going to see a lot of celebrities trying to look younger. I mean, they always are.
Youthful,
exuberant. First house. Because Aries rules over the first house. People are going to be taking their appearance very seriously in this year. Okay? In these 14 years. But also, an astrologer said this, and I believe it to be true. There's something that's going to happen with marine life. Either marine life is going to start fighting back at humans. Not like physically fight back. Like, we've been seeing under... You remember that fish?
We must put a picture of that fish.
That fish that came up on the surface? You see how they are doing research in Egypt? I have a gut feeling that maybe the Cape Town's water is going to get a bit warm. More tourist attraction, more money for South Africa. Rising sea levels. Keep an eye out for Cape Town in these 14 years. Africa, we're seeing a rise of digital nomads. Right? And we already see South Africa is fighting the digital nomads, and they're fighting people sexualizing South Africans. And I know you're thinking, what the fuck is that to do with anything?
Sexualizing the locals.
Hey, they're sexualizing people. Mars is also the planet of sex. You know, how you have sex and stuff like that. If you're a man. If you're a woman, it's your Venus, right? So we're going to see a lot of people fighting certain stereotypes. We already see it happening with Erika Badu. Giving homage to Sarah Bartman. People are going to start to realize that the BBL trend is actually making fun of the appearance of South African women who suffer by being sexualized. There's going to be something that happens with appearance.
Caricatures of how the white men
sexualize us. You see, I feel like a lot of people are going to be woke. If you thought people were fucking annoying in 20... What? The woke mind vibe. It's going to get fucking worse, bro. Sport betting. Okay? I feel like people are going to try sport betting. I could be wrong, but I feel like people are going to try sport betting. Some people might win big, some people might not. And I already saw it happening on my Twitter. But I feel like sport betting is going to be the next big thing. That's all I had to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video if you wanna. Comment down below what other videos I should make based on astrology if you're into that. If you're not into astrology, it's okay. Yeah, that's the video. I hope maybe I can come back, look at it, and see what things have come true and what things haven't come true. Yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you in another video. Bye.